It's been 7 long years since The Last of Us first blew us away on the PlayStation 3 and quickly became one of Reviews on the Run's top 100 video games of all time. It's high on that list as well. And of course, a sequel was going to come from Naughty Dog, but the question was, where was Naughty Dog going to take us with The Last of Us Part 2? I just beat the game. I'm not going to spoil much. I have to talk a little bit about my experiences here, but I'm really not going to talk more than what we're already seeing in trailers and stuff like that. I don't want to spoil this game for anybody. I do want to tell you right off the bat that the game is an absolute masterpiece. It's a technical marvel, a breathtaking piece of art where you are constantly looking at finite details and lighting and character definition and performance work and systems and mechanics that just merge beautifully with cinematics that are so artfully crafted.
She kissed me. It was just Dina being Dina. She didn't mean anything by it.
I was talking about your fight with Seth. Wait, you kissed Dina?
Oh. I thought this...
We're broken up 1 week and you make a move on my girl?
You're always in awe of this game from start to finish. It is also an incredibly lengthy game, and one of the things that they did with this title is they removed multiplayer, which I think gave the first Last of Us game some real substantial legs. A lot of people played the multiplayer component of that title. I played it when I reviewed it, but I didn't really go back to it too much, partially because of my job. So I'm not in that camp that's very, dismayed that multiplayer isn't a part of this. And I'm also less concerned about that because the game is hefty. It is, I think, the longest game that Naughty Dog has crafted in terms of a single-player story-driven experience. You do a lot of exploration and traversal and character examination in this game. Of course, the focus this time is on Ellie. We get to be in Ellie's shoes and really get a sense of who this character is and how she has matured. It's obviously taking place after the events of the first Last of Us. And it's a game that really works hard to kind of connect dots and to craft a sense of a universe around the game. And sometimes it's a little overt and a little too deliberate. You can see the manufacture of The Last of Us as a brand and the world building that is going on there. And there are times in this game where you're introduced to a lot of supporting characters and ancillary characters where it feels a little bit, I had feelings, and I have to be honest, where I had feelings like I had flipped over to Fear the Walking Dead or later seasons of Lost, where I'm like, who are these people? Why do I have to care about these people? And much to Naughty Dog's credit, those initial feelings of like, whoa, I'm not hanging with Joel and Ellie, and I'm hanging with these people that I don't really know or want to know, they all drift away. They all fade away. And as you're, working your way through Jackson, Wyoming, and through Seattle, Washington, and you see all of these environmental details, starting with beautiful snowdrifts and snowfall in Jackson and the flooded, rainy streets of Seattle, it just becomes overwhelming. This full experience, this full dive into this world. And it's incredibly oppressive and hard to stomach. And, that was something that I definitely recognized with the first game, how much Naughty Dog kind of escalated violence in their title and how you felt. Even the sound of bullets leaving your gun was a slap in the face in the first Last of Us, let alone seeing their impact and feeling that impact. And obviously what's introduced in the first game is this idea of these infected creatures and this kind of zombie-like invasion coming after you and you dealing with clickers and all of these different creatures. And that's still an element here, but what was really profound about the first Last of Us is how much more dangerous the human beings were. And that is amplified in The Last of Us 2. We definitely see a lot of weird and creepy and freaky creatures, but they're, in this game, they have less of a shock because a lot of those reveals have happened in this world already. What's really shocking is the human-to-human interactions that you have and how much everyone in the world of The Last of Us is a survivor and incredibly dangerous. And I think that's what Naughty Dog is really trying to examine with The Last of Us here. It's just how a shocking, transformative world event can change human beings into ruthless killers. And it is a world of kill or be killed. It is absolutely about survival. And I'll tell you something, after playing so many hours of the game, and I would suggest that you don't play it. I say this quite often in my reviews, but I would suggest that you don't play it like I played it. It's 8-hour stretches at a time is harrowing. It's just too much to be in this oppressive environment and surrounded by all of this. There's a lot of hate in the game and a lot of anger in the game and a lot of just terror in the game. And I felt it. I felt it in my body. I felt it as I was playing the game. My hands were cramping around the controller because I was so tense. And when I was stabbing people or chopping at them or trying to shoot them before they got me, I was like pushing the controller forward. I could feel it physically in my body. I was so taken. And honestly, it recalled moments of playing Half-Life Alyx. Obviously Half-Life Alyx is VR and you can interact with everything, but it was so detailed. The world of The Last of Us Part 2 is so precisely crafted and tactile. It just feels like you are really in that space. More than any other Naughty Dog game for sure, but possibly any other flat screen 3D experience that I've played. I mean, this is just stunning. Just this immersion into this space is just stunning. And I was definitely aware that this was not healthy to play it this long and to be in this kind of a distraught state for as long as I was when I was playing it. And I would go to bed like anxious and kind of freaked out, and I'd have weird dreams. So what I'm saying is, don't digest it all on the weekend that you get it. Try to enjoy it and savor it. It's going to go on for a long time. Literally, it's like 3 seasons of a television show. It's I thought it was 2 seasons for a while, and then it felt like 3 seasons because it's so big. There's so much to explore. It's one of those games where you think, oh, I see where they're going, and then it's like, nope, they're going over here. Oh, it's going to end. No, there's stuff over here. Oh. And the other thing I've noticed since playing this game so much is I can't enter a room without sort of looking around for supplies, like looking on desks and tables and in drawers. I feel like that's how you exist in this game. You're crouching a lot and you're like opening everything and looking around. So you don't enter a room and just walk to an objective. You just sort of slide along walls and go under counters and try not to be seen. And you're constantly looking for upgrades for your weapons. You're constantly using your listen ability to make sure that there are no infected around or human opponents around. It is incredibly tense. So, yeah, I don't recommend that you just consume it like you're just, you got to eat it all right away. Enjoy it, savor it, and I think you'll feel a little bit less stressed because this is a stressful game. And sometimes I wonder how developers at Naughty Dog just live in this world for so long because it's bleak as hell. It is potentially the bleakest, most gut-wrenching video game experience, particularly because you really begin to love these people and these characters and care for them. And there's a lot of really fantastic friendships, and there's a huge body count. It's just an incredibly crazy, violent experience. And you feel it, man. You really feel it. There's definitely an element here where you can feel Naughty Dog wanting to, one-up the intimacy that was crafted in The Last of Us. And I think the shock of the game and the surviving through that game was wonderful, but I think what made the first Last of Us so special was the intimacy that Joel and Ellie found. They needed each other to survive that game, and the idea that a father who had lost a daughter has a second chance with Ellie was just beautiful and poignant, and it was so special. And obviously, when you go back into a world like that, it is about extension And of course, we know that there are Last of Us stories being developed for television and all kinds of other things. So you can see the machine a little bit of that in this game. And it's hard not to be a little bit cynical about that. It's hard not to be kind of thinking about direct choices to kind of not just embellish this story, but to expand this story. But it definitely, and I can say this emphatically, all of that cynicism about the development of this or its value in context with the first Last of Us falls away. This is an astounding achievement. It's not the shock that the first Last of Us was, particularly when you look at Naughty Dog's roots as a company that has always built cool games, but has sort of veered more to, family-friendly adventure. This is definitely thought-provoking, adult, mature content. And it also, I think, raises the bar with the idea that where do games position themselves against narrative drama? We often hear about games being converted to film or television, and of course The Last of Us is about to do that. And often a question that comes up is, why the hell do we need that? Why do we need an Uncharted movie? What does it matter? And it's games of this caliber that really underline that we don't really need it. It's going to be a nice value add to these properties and to these characters to see them reimagined and stuff. But when you have a game that plays as thrillingly and competently and creates that sense of investment into the people that you're connecting with in this interactive world, as well as The Last of Us Part 2 does, it's entertainment like this that stands apart. Plus the fact that you are imbued into the experience and it's your story because you are navigating and making choices about how you power up, how you outfit your weaponry, and where you explore and how you explore. Yeah, it's incredible. It's hard to boil it down. It's hard for me to, not dive right into specific reasons why this game matters to me and I think for this business. But I think it's going to be a title that people are going to be talking about for a long time. I can't wait to talk about it some more after you guys have played it. And I have to say that there are some creative choices in here that really, really shocked and pissed me off. And I was out for a while. I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm in line with this. But the game 100% won me back. I was absolutely moved. And more than anything, I'm just pleased that Naughty Dog didn't let down this incredible property. And I'm very happy for the developers at Naughty Dog who clearly worked like crazy to build this exceptional experience. And honestly, I can't underline how much fun the game is. It's very easy to play. It's very easy to transition from combat scenarios to stealth sequences to exploration to, sitting back and watching expertly crafted cut sequences and then diving back into these loops and feeling satisfied by all of them. Maybe not every character beat or every character decision it is perfect from your first expectations, but the totality of this is it's just extraordinary. It's just so damn good. So PlayStation 4 owners, you're in for a hell of a ride with this one, an emotional ride. And Naughty Dog has once again proved that they are one of the best game makers this world has ever seen. I'm giving The Last of Us Part 2 a 10 out of 10.